Hello. I'm back in the studio. Isn't that weird? Okay, so today I'm still working on... Well, it's a short day yesterday, so it sounds like I'm working very slowly. I'm not, I promise you. But today I'm working on the Rhys Marshs track, You Will Never Fall. It's not called Candlelight. I should know. But I use it as a working title, and working titles die. So, or they end up on record covers, but that's a completely different story. I could tell you it. Yes, I should. We were having a discussion with one of my old bands, and we made a live album. And during the discussions, I don't know if we were drinking coffee or hard liquor, but during the discussions about what the album was going to be called, I said that the worst title ever for a live album must be Buried Alive. And this was also the band's last gig. And before I knew it, I saw some kind of sketch or some kind of like little print of the album cover. And the band had decided that it was going to be called Buried Alive. And I had said it in a sarcastic, ironic tone, because I really feel it's the probably worst name for a live album, except for that, what is it, Pete Frampton Comes Live? That's pretty bad too. But so never. This is a little tip to all you people out there who produce bands or work with bands or interact with people. Never present your worst idea, because if you do, they will undoubtedly choose that. That's the money tip of the day. Anyway, today I decided to go electronic. Yes. So I hooked up my little Electribe drum machine, and I programmed a little thing. I don't know if I'm still connected. No, I'm not. But a lot of these new digital little drum machines and whatnot, they sound great, and they work every time. When you press play, they actually play. Isn't that great? But I love the idea of taking something that is pretty clean and sterile and sort of dragging it through the dirt. So it's going through this wonderful pedal, which is the Audible Disease Rupture. And this is the Rupture 1, the original. It's a lot better than the 2, because this is a lot more grittier. No, I'm just kidding. I've never heard the 2. And it's probably great. But what it does is that it is sort of a feedback loop. It has a in and an out, goes in and out, great, and then it's got a send and a return. But in the actual pedal, it's got some kind of weird filtery distortion thingy, or maybe it's just a bent nail. I don't care. It sounds wonderful, and it does all sorts of random noise, and it makes everything go crazy. But so we've got our wonderful, nice, modern digital. It's almost like an analog drum machine. Going into the Rupture 1, yes. But what's in the loop? Because that's always the interesting thing about this pedal. Well, it goes into the Moger Foger 12-stage phaser. And I'm not a big fan of phasers, because I think they sound like an effect in a weird way, which it is, but it just, I don't know. It feels someone's put an oily blanket on top of everything, which can be nice on the right evening, but not today. And then that goes through the Sequoia. This was the first Levex pedal I bought, and it's a 8 wahs in a row kind of a thing. Doesn't make sense, but it sounds wonderful. And then that goes through the Moger Foger low pass filter. And I'm using the delay from the Electribe. And one would think that this comes out as this big electronic mess. We like electronic messes, but it actually turns into something quite nice. Hey, that's the Omnichord from yesterday. And here we go. This is the drum machine going through all of that. And it should be here. Oh, come on. Yeah. And I like it because it sounds a bit boxy, and it's got some harmonic substance as well. It's not just chicka chicka. And a lot of times when I do stuff like this, I have a tendency of going towards a mim, Icelandic, crispy, crunchy, watchy kind of a thing. But I was very pleased that when I was fiddling around, I was going for that kind of sound, but I went for something different because the sounds were interesting in themselves, and it took me somewhere else. But how do you? And the annoying thing is that the scratch guitar and vocals and bass don't mix at all, because they're slightly, I don't know if they're slightly behind on the beat or slightly after the beat, but it really doesn't matter, because what happens is that it sounds pretty nasty right now. But I have a very strong faith that this will work. I was listening to Captain Beefheart when I was riding my bike here today. Again, I tried it yesterday, it didn't work out, so I thought I'm going to do it again just to see if it's my fault or his. It's probably, I must say, it's usually my fault, but in this case I think it is actually the album's fault. You can't ride a bike and listen to Captain Beefheart. Everything turns very, very weird. And if you look at music in the scale of, and just putting Captain Beefheart anywhere on that scale, you realize that what you're doing is pretty mainstream and pretty bland and boring. So, I'm not too worried about the craziness or weirdness of this, because it isn't weird. But what I did is that, what I like about this rhythm, it's almost got something dancey going on. But I don't want it to be dancey. So, once again, I'm acting against the rhythm itself, because I want it to have almost like a tortoise kind of chitter-chattery feel. So, look what I brought out. A snare drum and a cymbal. Ooh. And a microphone, pretty high up. Yes, and there's the chaos that is my studio today. And then I wanted to do a rhythm that would, for one thing, have a completely different timbre than the drum machine. Something that would be more acoustic and maybe even jazzy. Yes. So it's an old K. Siljan 50s wonderful, you know, the best cymbal in the world. The one that everyone's trying to copy today. And then the little snare drum. Yes. And this is how it turned out. I'm very happy with it. Because they complement each other. And here we go. And also what it brings to the whole thing is a sense of urgency. It's not relaxed, it's not laid back. It's like, come on, we're in a hurry. And I think that's good, because I love the fact that we're going from something that is pretty 8th notey to something that is a lot more like 16th notey and small and... Yeah, well, sort of. But so that's the idea. I think it works. I want to emphasize that further on. But I have another idea as well, and that is to, in this mess, is to emphasize, of course, the big beat is like boom, bat, boom, bat. So I got all 3 layers going at the same time. And if it's just in time, it should work. But I've heard myself play, so we've got a problem. Bye, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or even night.